Yeah, Shaggy, underrated.
It was always not him.
It was always not him.
You're listening to part 3 of a conversation between Scott Jacobson, a lover of bands and a maker of music videos, and Tamara Federici, producer of Every Band Ever, already in progress.
Lately, David Byrne has had a bit of a renaissance, a career renaissance. Not that he ever fully went away, but he had this show on Broadway, and a lot of people paying attention again and reevaluating the Talking Heads discography. And I'm going to admit that I've never been the biggest Talking Heads fan. I like a lot of their songs, but I'm still fascinated with them as a band with a really unique front person who may or may not have Asperger's, but certainly that was his persona. And he, the way he approached his lyrical subject, it was unlike anybody else, in rock and roll. Their one of their big albums is more songs about buildings and food. And at the time, this was the 1970s. Not a lot of people were singing about buildings or food, and they came along. And I'm wondering, for one thing, I should stop even asking you this because I think I know the answer, but did you have anything to do with that particular album? Okay, I don't want to be the guy who's just like, so tell me everything.
Yeah, I mean, the Talking Heads from the beginning are about like nouns and motion. Like that's what they do. They do nouns
Right.
and then they do motion. And so objects are part of that. But, a lot of
And
times,
so, in a way, songs
I
about
actually,
buildings and food, that was adding two more subjects. Really, they were saying
right,
we can't just do nouns and motion, although buildings and food are nouns.
right. And then secondarily, objects and murderers. You
Objects
know,
and yeah,
they also would cover those.
nouns and motions and
But
objects and murderers. You could
exactly, that's
really,
pretty much the Talking Heads.
yeah, you could build a solid, repertoire just on using those. But like,
Even now,
yeah,
yeah.
even now, and many have tried. Many have tried to do, building songs or murder songs. But I mean, there is something to be said for being the first. You look at their albums, and "Remain in Light." Isn't that the one with the "Stop Making Sense" movie?
Stop Making Sense was I just love their sense of the sense of quirkiness was not popular at the time and nobody cared. And, nobody cared about the Ramones either. Like, but they made it, they kind of made it work. And I want to talk about Tina Weymouth some if you
Yeah,
don't
no,
mind
I'm
going
a
in that
huge
direction.
fan
But I
of Chris
also have
France and Tina Weymouth. I mean, they were unsung heroes, unsung by David Byrne, I should say. And they went on to do Tom Tom Club and have hits of their own. But they, to this day, are on bad terms with David Byrne. And I mean, you were in the studio with these guys, and there must have. I mean, can you tell me anything about the relationship then? Were they on good terms?
I think it got worse as it went along, but they just kind of were. I mean, honestly, if Tina Weymouth had been, sort of the rudder for that band, and they kind of let her lead it, it would have been an amazing. They would probably still be together, but David Byrne was clearly the front man, and they were going to do things, his way. I found some notes that I took from working with them at the time,
Oh
so
my
I wanted
God,
to read you
really?
some. I think they are album titles.
So these are
Let me
rejected
see if I
album
can find.
titles from the Talking Heads.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Let me. I just happen to. I have a bunch of crap downstairs, and I
And they're a band that
found
is
it.
known for having great album titles. So I would love to hear what ended up on the cutting room floor.
These were some of the early names when, as the first album. I'm a Toast. I'm a Toast. Heavy with Stapler. There's a House. Hey, I know that guy. Mailman in Love, comma, Letter on Fire.
Wow,
So
that
you
I
can see
like that
that.
one a lot. I'm not sure why they didn't go with that one.
This is called Phone Book, comma, Take Me Higher.
I like to see a lot of these
Um,
mix like the prosaic, the everyday with like the divine. That is sort of what they're about. They're about elevating the mundane. Could you give me more?
I have Banana Casket, but I don't know that that was
That's another
referring to a
perfect
song.
example. Wow, this is really cool.
So I also forgot that Tony Basil choreographed Once in a Lifetime.
Oh
So
wow.
that was pretty. So she's the one who originally came up with that dance. As much as I would like to say that I had any hand in that at all, that was actually her. So
Yeah, she's one of these.
that's
No, I wouldn't say Zelig like figures because she's a star in her own right, but popped up a lot. Um, And a lot,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's surprising.
as a choreographer and
Um,
as a musician. And you knew her.
oh, here's one. I did. This one is Put It in a Closet.
Put it in a
And
closet.
oh, that was the original. Yes, this is why I have that. That was the original name of Burning Down the House. And I was like, we've got to take the stakes up a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
I totally see your point. Put it in a closet. It's compelling because you're wondering, well, what is it, and why does it need to go in the closet? But burning down the house is immediate. Like you're just thinking,
I'm
yeah,
interested.
you're tuned
Yeah.
in. Put it in a closet. I'm like, huh, maybe.
Right. Put it in a closet. You're like, I don't care why. I don't
And
care
I'm not
why.
even sure if you really find out in burning down the house,
No.
why did it burn down?
I think that's not.
Was
Yeah,
there
that's their not their
was it
concern usually.
electrical? Yeah, and it didn't seem. I mean, I'm
You would have been great in the band though, as like a counterpoint. Would it be? Wasn't it electrical?
well, yeah, I would think that a lot of the time when you have someone who think David Byrne he seems to be a sort of guy who works on the concept of an album and he wants it to be rock solid. So I'm assuming these are the kind of questions that he asks. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're the one who spent so much time with him.
Well, he just liked, like they all liked Robert Rauschenberg so much, and so once you can translate from like a, a painting where a rock is, it's there's a rock tied to the painting, and then you're kind of figuring out what that means. So once you can talk about that with David Byrne, then you can talk about kind of any language with him about how he wants to do his music, if that
So you
makes
can talk
sense.
about once you can
So do
talk
Bob
about that
Tooze.
painting with the rock on it, then you're in his universe. You get
Right.
his whole deal. This just begs the question for David Byrne's art: what is the painting? What is the rock?
It's catchy. That's the amazing part about them. They make weird, catchy songs that are accidentally catchy and complex and like multi-layered. So that's their greatness. And then it's his crazy dancing that I found out like way after the fact. It was he studied with a marionette named Claude in France.
Wow, he studied with a marionette. That makes total sense.
Yeah,
That
not a
actually
life-size one. Yeah.
that's amazing.
It's real, especially the early years. It's like way, really wide marionette moves. It's all I can say. Now I
There's a
know,
funny story that Brian Eno tells about David Byrne, where they're walking around in 1970s New York, and different place than it is today, in mean streets, and they were mugged by this gang of like warrior style, street kids, and they grabbed David Byrne and were dragging him off into the bushes, and as they were dragging him, all David Byrne did was he said, "Uh-oh." It just I don't know what it says about the personality, but it's he's an eccentric.
it's so true. I've heard that story too. It's pretty amazing because you can picture like what that uh-oh sounds like. Like it almost sounds happy even if he's afraid. Like, uh-oh. I can't even do it. Like, uh-oh. I don't even know. I don't know. I can tell you about that breakup specifically. I think we were starting to talk about that, and then I found
Oh
my
yeah,
notes.
the band
Um,
breaking up.
I think really what happened was he wanted them to go to Amsterdam, and they wouldn't. And he wanted to put them all on bikes that had been made from recycled sousaphones. And he wanted to do
That sounds like him.
an yeah, an entire tour on bikes, and they wouldn't. And he called them all assholes, which is very not like the band, but they refused, and they didn't ever fix it. They haven't performed together as a band, but they went on tour with the Bodies exhibit for a few years,
The Bodies
and they didn't tell
exhibit.
anybody. No,
You're
there were
talking
no
about the
instruments or
exhibit.
anything. They
It's
just
actually actual bodies stripped of their skin, just their musculature, and they're posed doing things like panning for gold or like reaching for a kitten up in a tree, that sort of thing. And
yep,
that they what did they do at the bodies exhibit?
they were the Bodies.
Whoa. Wouldn't it be
Yeah,
amazing? I mean, I never went to that. Now I really wish I did. I just thought it was cheesy and disturbing tourist bait. But you're telling me if I went to see the bodies exhibit, I see, for instance, the body with the football, and I'm a little grossed out, but I keep walking, and the next body starts doing a herky jerky dance, and turns out to be David Byrne.
right. I mean, like if you look at the guy who's panning the gold close enough, see if he looks like he's got, marionette dancing hands.
That's amazing. This is the sort of stuff that I don't know. I just didn't know that. Thank you for letting me spend this time with you.
Thanks for asking. I'm so glad we finally got to talk about this. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, and thank you for all the art that you've helped to bring into the world.
Thank you, Scott. I'm so glad that you wanted to talk about this. There's not a lot of people that I talk to about
Yeah,
it.
no,
So this has been fun.
Bless you.
Go to Every Band Ever on Instagram for updates or to suggest a band. Scott Jacobson is an executive producer on Bob's Burgers, which is entering its 13th season on Fox. Tamara Federici is busy making your favorite freaking band even freaking better. The editor is Will Velasquez. The audio engineer is Clark Jackson. Thanks for listening. See you next week. What have you done for me lately? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, what have you done for me lately? Ooh, ooh, ooh.